Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This video is going to go over 2.7 part 2. I know we did some of this in class today, but I'm going to do the rest of it, and I'm just going to start from the beginning in order to help you guys get a full picture and a full understanding. I'm also going to link the NFL touchdowns and wins spreadsheet that we had from earlier. You should be able to find it in Classroom, but I'll repost it in the stream for you as well as the spreadsheet that we made on Monday and that we did our assignment over today. So make sure you have both of those out. And please pause the video whenever I do something in the spreadsheet. That way you can kind of see a clear picture. I'm going to try to go as slow as I can here, but if I am going too fast, pause the video at any time. So earlier in the unit, we calculated R by using the z-scores and doing that whole z-score formula, finding the distance from the mean. R squared is just the square of R. All right. There's another way we can calculate it. Here I'm going to show you that using spreadsheets and regressions and residuals and all that other good stuff. All right, so R squared contains two components. The first component, which I'm going to call A, is the sum of squared residuals if we use the mean as a predicted price. So this is new. All right, we're going to do that, okay? And I'm just going to call that term A. Real simple. That term is going to be our A. All right. Our B term is what we did on our 2.6 notes here. So this is what we've done. We took the sum of squared residuals using the regression. Okay. Now, the regression is always going to be more accurate as a predictor rather than just using the mean, because the regression actually creates an equation where from the mean we just use the mean. So the regression is always going to be more accurate. So the squared residuals of the regression are always going to be smaller than the squared residuals if we just use the mean. Okay. So basically, in layman's terms, our A term is always going to be bigger than B. Okay, our A term is always going to be bigger than B. All right, and so our formula for R squared is going to be A minus B over B. All right. Go ahead and pause the video if you need to. And now we're going to get into the spreadsheet. And we're actually going to do the B first because we already kind of know how to do that. So we're going to start with B and then go back to A. So pause the video if you need to. Okay. So here's what I want us to do. So our NFL TDs and wins, what we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste it into a new spreadsheet tab. So here's what I want us to do. Okay. So we have our spreadsheet that we did, okay, earlier in the week. All right, we're going to take it and we're just going to make a new sheet. We're going to make a new tab. All right, if you want to rename it to calculating A and B or something like that, by all means. Okay, so again, just open up a new tab in the spreadsheet that you already saved. And then add a sheet, this button down here, right? And you may want to do it calculating A and B. And maybe the one that we did yesterday, or Monday, this would be for calculating S, for the standard deviation. All right, so calculating A and B. All right, new spreadsheet. So what we want to do first is we're going to go to our NFL touchdowns and wins. We're going to copy the 2024 data and paste it in a new spreadsheet tab. All right. We're going to use wins and touchdowns. Actually, we were going to do it with wins and turnover differentials. I'm sorry. Let me add this to the notes. Wins, or we're going to use turnover differential and wins. Add that there. All right. So we're going to first our B value. Okay, so our B value is just going to be a sum of squared residuals using the regression equation as our prediction. All right, and we're going to use the 2024 data. All right, so going to my NFL touchdowns and wins here, we're going to go to our 2024 season. Whoops. All right, I'm going to copy this turnover differential thing. In my first tab, and I'm going to copy my wins in this column right here. All right, so here's going to be our regression for predicted wins. Here's going to be our residuals. And here's going to be our our squared residuals. And pause the video at any time. So we need to make a regression for predicted wins. Okay, so they gave us a progression. The regression is 8.5 plus 0.2698x. I'm just going to copy this with the equal sign, and we're going to paste that right there. It's going to give us an error. All right, but remember, we cannot have an x. All right, so what we need to do equals 8.5 plus 0.2698x. So we're going to copy that here. Again, we're going to see error, and the reason being, if you can see right here on the screen, is that we don't want x right there. All right, we want to change the x. All right, and take our x value at turnover differentials. So we're going to backspace on that, and we're going to multiply. Whoops. We're going to backspace that. We're going to multiply that by our turnover differentials A2. All right. Paste. All right. So now we'll take this and drag it all the way down to the bottom of our data. And same thing we did yesterday. And now we have our predicted wins. All right. For y'all to see that one more time. Okay. We're going to type in our regression equation. Equals 8.5 plus 0.2698 times shift 8. My turnover differential, A2. Hit enter. It should give me that. And then I drag it all the way down. All right. Now for our residuals, again, for residuals, we need to subtract the actual y, which is our wins, minus the regression y, which is our predicted wins. Okay, so we need to subtract basically B2 minus C2. So we're going to equal B2 minus C2. All right, we hit enter. We get our residuals. And we're going to drag it down. Again, try this as you're doing it. Pause the video. Try it on your own. Pause the video. Try it on your own. All right. So our squared residuals, we're going to take our residuals and square them. So we're going to equal this box right here to this box D2 squared. Enter. We get 16.579555524. And we're going to drag it down to the bottom of our data. Again, pause the video and do this yourself. Go back and rewatch it if you need to go back and rewatch it. All right. So now our B value is just the sum of the squared residuals. Okay, so our B value is just the sum of the squared residuals. So to get the sum of the squared residuals, if we go somewhere down here and we equals and we hit sum, all right, and we're just going to highlight all the squared residuals and hit enter. All right, so we should get 170.747. This is our B value. This is our B value. This is what we did yesterday. Okay, this value is our B, 170.747. So going back to our notes, our B value, 170.747. That's not our A value, that's our B value. Pause the video if you need to. We're going to go back, and now we're going to find our A value, but we're going to use a different way of doing this here. Okay. Going to make this nice and easy for you. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our turnover differential and wins. We're going to copy these down. And we're going to copy these into column F. All right, so we're going to take columns A and B, copy them into columns F and G. Okay. Now our third column, now we're not going to do the predicted wins based on the regression. we're going to do the predicted wins based on the mean. And this is really simple. We do our predicted wins based on the mean. So all we need to do is we need to find the mean or the average of all of our wins. Alright, so we go to find the average of all of our wins. What we'll do is we'll come down here where we had our sum. We're going to equals average okay, so we're going to type in average and we're going to highlight the average of our wins. $8.5. Right? So the average of our wins is 8.5. So this box here, which is box G37, we're going to equal our predicted wins to box G37. We're going to equal it to G37. Alright, and we're just going to copy this and pull that all the way down because it's going to be the same. The predicted wins is just based on the mean. Oh, it's not working. There we go. Highlight it. Copy it all the way down. It's not working. Son of a gun. You have to just do this one by one. Paste, 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 and we will paste this all the way down. Alright, so we have our G37 box all the way down. So just equals G37 and just copy and paste that all the way down. Again, if we do this right, we only have to do it once. If we do this right, we only have to do it once. So copy and paste G37 all the way down here or whatever box that you have for your mean. Alright, so now we just have our residuals. Okay, and we're going to do this residuals box just like we did this residuals box. We're going to take our wins minus the predicted. So we're going to equal this to that box minus that box. Enter. And then we'll pull this formula all the way down. Alright, so hopefully we see that. Squared residuals. Alright, so now we're going to take these residuals and square them. So equals this squared. Tally those up. All right, so we'll pull that all the way down. So hopefully we see 42.25, 42.25 and all this. All right, and now we're going to do the sum of those. So we're going to equal the sum. We will highlight all these. 426. So our sum of squared residuals is 426. There. This is our A value. All right, this is our A. That one over there was our B. All right. Pause the video if you need to. Go back if you need to. I know this thing was acting a little clunky. I apologize for that. Just go back and pause and slow down and take your time if you need to. You have all period to do this. All right. So coming back here, we know our B value was 170.747. Our A value is 426. Okay, so our R squared, the R squared is going to be 426, A minus B, 426 minus 170.747, all over 426. Put those in parentheses there. All right, so we go to calculate this out. So our R squared value is equal to 0.599. Here's what this means. I'm going to go ahead and erase this. Pause this if you need to. So R squared is 0.599. So we interpret this model by saying that 59.9% and the variance of the winds is model, and this model is due to turnover differential. And the remaining, whatever, one, and the remaining basically 40.1% is due to other variables. Now, if we did this right, all we have to do is copy down the 2023 model, all right, the data from 2023, redo the regression equation, all right, and drag it all down, and everything should be good to go. So let's try it. Please pause the video. All right. All right, so we're going to do the same thing, but with 2023. So I have my NFL touchdowns and wins. I'm going to go to 2023. I'm going to take my turnover differential and wins. Take these two columns. Copy them. All right. So I'm going to copy these two columns here. And I also need to copy these two columns here. All right. We have our regression equation in here. 8.5 plus 0.2.92698 times A2. Right? So we need to change this equation now. So the regression equation now has 8.5 and then 0.1405x. All right. So coming to our thing, we still have 8.5 and 0.1405x. So we could just take this and do 0.1405 times A2 and just click that in there instead. Hit enter. All right, and now we will pull this down. Right, and we should see all of our numbers change. All right. So now we have our B value of 192.559. We'll call 192.56 as our B. And over here, our mean still ended up being 8.5 for all of our wins, so that's easy. And we had our residuals, okay, subtracted from 8.5. All right, and here's our squared residuals. These are already done. And so now our A value is 234. And that's all the changes we had to make. Okay, that's all the changes we had to make. And we're done. Alright, so let's say our our B is 192.56. A value is 234. Alright, so our R squared, again, it's A minus B divided by A. So we have 234 minus 192.56 all divided by 234. Alright, so this R squared is equal to 0.177, so 0.177. Okay? So that's that. Again, please, we have plenty of time. Go back and rewatch the video if you need to. See how all this is done. And just copy it down in your spreadsheet, just the same way that I did. And then you have it. And you should be good to go for when we need to calculate R squared in the future. And that is all we have here. So mess around with that and make sure you're good. And if you have any questions, please let me know. And you guys all have a good day, and I'll see you tomorrow for our quiz. Take care.